We are now going to
I'm
begin
going to mute
our
me.
Friday Mastermind. So thank you all for joining us. Um, Update on me, I feel great today. I don't know, I got sleep for the last, week. And last night particularly, I was real tired yesterday because I'd been, working all week and keeping up with client meetings and stuff. Um, so everything was going, so I was really tired. And so I didn't have anything after about 3 o'clock. So about 4 o'clock, I just laid down on the couch and I went so sound asleep. My husband said he tried to wake me up once and he couldn't even wake me up. I never am a really sound sleeper. So I woke up about 8:30, 9 o'clock when he went to bed. And so I got up and I was going to go on to bed and go to sleep, but I started doing something and it woke me up. So I came in here and worked for a couple of hours and got so much work done. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can think. I could remember stuff I was supposed to do, and I haven't been remembering things. And I was really getting really nervous about that. So I even asked him at the hospital, I'm like, I don't like to use this word at all, but can you tell me, does this sound like I'm getting Alzheimer's? She goes, Alzheimer's. This is not even begin. This it has no, doesn't even sound like how Alzheimer's starts. I'm like, oh, good, but because that's all I could think of. If I can't remember something, that's like for me it was like a big, big awakening. Anyway, so I feel great. I'm going to go down, and I was just telling everybody I'm going to go down and get a shot of PRP, platelet-rich plasma. My husband had to look it up on there to see what it was before he didn't fuss at me about it, but he said it sounds good to him. So I have his blessing. The doctor doesn't know about it, so I'm ready to rock and roll here. Um, okay, so we're going to talk about something today, and I'm going to put a link in or put a file in the Facebook group about summits. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is we've been doing some research, Amy and I, for our client, our newest client, Joshua Bloom, who told me that, so he has a movie that he did about 2 years ago, 2017, I think it was. And I have a copy of the movie, and I think I'm going to post it in the Facebook group, the link to it. Once I find a place where we can put it, then you can find it easily. But I'm going to put it in there if anybody wants to. It's just if you want to watch it, that's all. Because the book he's coming out with in a few months will be based on that movie. And if you've ever seen the movie The Secret, or What the Bleep, Jeremy, you and I watched What the Bleep together. So love, 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 love that movie. And so it's similar to those and yet goes further into the quantum stuff. So his company is called Quantum Heal. Amy, the new name is Quantum Healing Center. Is that it?
No, it's going to be Quantum Energy. Healing Center is the old one. They're rebranding.
Oh, okay. Okay. So Jeremy, I'd love for you to do some research on this as well and tell me what you think. But so Jeremy and I were both working together in my Live It Choice world. So anyway, so I'm watching the movie. It's about 2 hours long, so I'm watching it a little bit each night. That was one thing I did when I came in here last night, was watch more of that. And he's just like The Secret, just like What the Bleep, just like another one, I think was Down the Rabbit Trail or something like that. He has different people, it'll cut to another person talking, and they'll say some things, and then it comes back to him, and then it goes to somebody else talking and sharing ideas and information, and then it tells you who that person is. And they're all leaders in their field, in the field of energy, of quantum physics, and all of that. So, and it's very interesting. So,
what's the name, Sandy, of the movie?
I'll look it up. It's TUA, The Ultimate Answer. Yeah, thank you, Amy.
The Ultimate Answer. And where can you find it?
Well, right now you can't, because
oh, okay.
That's why I said I'd post the link in the.
Sorry.
And the reason he hasn't posted it on YouTube or something is because he has music in there, and he needs to make sure before. Now, back then, you could watch the movie with him and all that, but he just wants to make sure before he makes it public that he has permission to use the music. So he's taking care of that. So I started off telling about this because, Amy, why would I start off telling about this?
Because he wants to be on telesummits, and it gave you the idea
Ah,
that everyone should
thank
be on
you.
telesummits.
My mind's not quite back to what it was. So yes, he said when he had the movie out, one of the ways he got the word out about the movie was telesummit. So how many of you have ever either been on a telesummit as a guest, attended a telesummit, or hosted a telesummit? Anybody here done any of those? Lydia, what'd you do, babe?
I've just been to one.
Okay. So anybody else been to one, attended one? So they're all online, and the way you get a schedule, and Amy could tell you more about them than I can probably, because she's actually one of her other clients. Actually, she does her telesummit for her. Jeremy, you've never been on a telesummit?
I need more of a definition. I may have.
Okay, Jenna did one.
Oh, okay. Then yes. I
was pretty sure you were on there. So the way it works is you have the person who's hosting it, which would be you if you decide you want to have one, or me. So that you're hosting it, and what you do is you either have it live, and you have different people coming on at different times. You get the word out. Amy, the one you do, is it live or recorded?
It's posted as if it's live, but it's pre-recorded to fit in everyone's schedule. She does the whole year. This year, she didn't pitch it as live. She just did it pandemic style, which is you can watch it at your leisure for 48 hours. So, and then she just upsells them into getting the recordings for a lifetime, and that's how she makes her money, but it's free to attend it.
And that's how most of them are. They're free to attend when they're live. If you want to be able to, if you can't attend and you want to be able to listen to it later, so it will automatically be recorded. But if you wanted to subscribe later, then there's a fee for that. It's usually a very reasonable fee. And then each presenter, and you can have it last for 3 days, a week, a month, it doesn't matter, because you're not going to be doing everything all at one time. So you could have one speaker a day for 30 days and have 30 speakers. Each speaker will have, and this is where you come in, each speaker will have a program or product to sell. Got that, Hyatt?
Yes, ma'am.
Hyatt and I met yesterday. We were going to work on some products that he can sell. And then, so you'll have to have your landing page. You'll have to have, and the telesummits are done by topic. So what is her topic, Amy? I can't remember. What is her name? Linda. What is Linda's topic?
She does women's ADHD, and then she does ADHD parent palooza. So parents of kids that have ADHD, or they both do, how to kind of parent them. So she'll get anywhere between 24 to 30 speakers and broadcast those over a course of 4 or 5 days. And then her last day is a live session, which is usually about 4 hours, and you have access to ask them questions live. And then she has her and like 4 or 5 people on the panel that answer your live questions. So that's kind of how she pitches it.
And do you know how many people, does she share that with you? How many people sign up and do all that stuff?
Yeah, so this last year, or at the beginning of the year when we did the Women's Palooza, we had over 7,300 people register. And this year for Parent Palooza, we started out at 4,300. We started out from last year at 4,300 registrants, and then on Monday, which is when it starts, we were already at 6,300, and it just ended today. It'll end today at 2. So I don't have an updated number, but that's generally kind of how it goes.
So all of them will not pay. And so typically the price for buying the whole package is hers $97?
Yeah, so the week that she does it with all the speakers, she offers an encore package, which is where you get the live access. the recordings for a lifetime. She offers that for $97. And once that week is over and she pushes people into that sale, then it goes up to $197. So she tries to push people in while it's on sale.
So it is definitely a money-making opportunity. That's why I thought of this group. Because I forwarded an email, or did I forward it or post it in the group? I don't remember. I'm in a mastermind on Mondays with Kelly McCausey, who is a online guru. She's never done anything except online from the very beginning, which was 20 something years ago. She started her own company, Solo Smart, as a young single mom who needed to make money. And she loved the internet, loved being online, and loved meeting people. And she was also an introvert, so she liked doing it from like behind the scenes. And so she's been doing that now for all this time. And she has built a sizable business. And she now teaches other people and helps them with their businesses. I met her about 10 years ago when I went to an online business conference with Marion LaSalle. She and I went. It was called NAM. I forgot what NAM stands for now, but I mean, I was so impressed with these people. And some of the people there were people that you would recognize their names because of their work they've done. But I started to hire Kelly then because she was one of the presenters, not one of the attendees, and I didn't. But I have hired her now. I just finishing up the first year with her in a program she calls People Power, and so we meet twice a month. And I can tell you that when you hire somebody one-on-one as a coach like that, it's not cheap. And I had to really pray about it and think about it, everything, because for me, for that program costs $8,000 a year. So, and we meet twice a month, and that's it. So it's not like you get a lot of bonuses, a lot of anything. I meet with her one-on-one twice a month for an hour. And then but what I get for that is I get every product she's ever done or ever will do. So that buys me into being a partner with her. I also get, so my Monday mastermind, which is immediately after Author Talk, that's included. And then there's a bunch of things included, including 2 events per year that are in person normally. This year they've all been online, so which for me worked great. I didn't have to go anywhere, just be here. So she's doing a webinar. Well, no, she's actually doing a how to do a small summit. She's calling them small summits because a lot of summits have, like Amy's, she's been doing hers for years, and she has 30-something speakers and on and on. She's going to talk about how to do a small summit. And that's what I posted that in the group, the private group, her email. She had an email. Oh, I know. I posted the link. That's what it was, to go find out more about it. So if you want to go to that link, check it out and see if you're interested. And I will also send an email to this group. So you don't have to go look it up in the Facebook group. I'm going to send an email to each one of you and say, here's the link to find out more about the small summits. And it's absolutely free. There is no cost at all. And this is not one where I don't think this is one where she's going to offer to get the recordings. I don't know. She just sent out an email announcing it. It will be August. It'll be next week. So you have to make a quick decision and you don't have to go. The beauty of having an online summit, you don't have to go to every session. You don't have, if there's a session you think would not apply to you, then just don't go. But you would want to go to the opening ones and some of those and see what all's going on. So when I got that, my mind has been very present this year, especially this year, to the fact of making money, you making money. at first it was all about you selling books. And that's still the number one focus, is the results I'm looking for is you selling books. How do we get you to sell more books? What can we do? And so then, as I've been, thinking about it, praying about it, writing about it, talking about it, it has occurred to me that all these people, they're making money sometimes not by selling books, but by having programs or products that go with that. And now you want them to, if they're not going to actually really complement your book, then make sure it's not something that's, like anti something about your book or something like that. So, but if you could have products that complement your book, that's even better. So James, for example, has been a publisher, he's an author, and yet he's, works for the government. He is a software, right, James, or hardware?
Yes, software engineer.
That's what I thought. So this was funny because I used to, when my husband, worked for IBM and I worked for Compaq and then HP, people used to say, what do y'all talk about? And I'm like, okay, so, conversations could get pretty over my head really, really fast. I'm having trouble hearing you. So, so we used to compare notes with other wives that husbands would be in the group, and we're like, my husband is this kind of engineer, and we're like, oh wow, that does sound bad. And one woman said, look, you haven't been married to a software engineer. Those are the worst, the geekiest of all of them. So I don't know if that's true or not, James. I never did have a software engineer. My husband's always been in hardware. So
I try not to talk about software and about programming. I try to spare Athena, those conversations. But sometimes I come home and the conversation is about, you won't believe what they want me to do now. So,
trust me.
Yeah.
And I was always with hardware. My husband was once storage became a big deal, he went directly to storage, and he was there for the rest of his career. So trust me, I know more about storage than I ever wanted to know about storage. So, okay, so what we're going to do today is we're still going to have the mastermind effects. Each one of you are going to talk, because let's say that I do decide to do, after going to this small summit, and if you get a chance and you can go, then go, because it's, again, free. Now, remember, here's where you have to know this up front. They will be trying to sell you something. That's what it's all about. It's the money making. Just like at some point, you're going to want to sell people something as well. So don't be so critical and say, well, they just want to sell me something. Okay, then say no. Just don't buy it. But if here's what this is one of my pet peeves. Somebody that talks bad about somebody else trying to sell them something, and then they're trying to sell me something. I'm like, no, you don't get it both ways. If you don't like sales, then stay out of it, selling or buying. But if you're going to sell, then don't be critical of somebody selling to you. So that's what I want you to have open mind going into this, that they will be making an offer. They're not going to call it sales, they're going to call it making an offer. So here comes Tarina again. She must have got kicked off. By the way, CJ and Lydia, where did Lydia go? Lydia, you still here?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Wave at me. I don't see you.
I'm here. Lydia's not.
Oh, Lydia's not there anymore?
I don't see her. She might have gotten bumped.
Okay.
Oh, she said sorry. She got a call she needed to take.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was her that said, I'm here. And I'm like, I don't see you. But yes, yes, I did see you. So I had a call with Tarina yesterday, and she said she had a great call with you two yesterday morning. So that congratulations. It sounded like a match made in heaven. So really glad that she connected with you guys. And Tarina, good to see you here. It was great to have a call with you yesterday, Tarina. So thank you for that.
Yes.
And Tarina, remember, if you don't remember how Tarina found us, it was Zach. So we have to say a special thank you to Zach for introducing us to Tarina. Okay, so back to small summits. So the goal will be to have however many speakers you want to have for however many days, and then I will have a or we or you when it's you, we'll have a goal of how many speakers we want to have, how much money we want to make, and also I will need, what I will do is I'm gonna just keep saying I will do, just rather than confuse everybody by saying it's all of us. So what I will do is then make sure that when Amy creates the sales page, that we know what we want to accomplish. We have to put all that in there. We have to put what the theme is and all that. So I'm thinking that I could do a telesummit, a small telesummit, and it be on the theme of either publishing, marketing, both, but it would be like all about books, kind of would be one of the themes or one of the names I would consider for it. So that means that anybody that's interested, maybe somebody that just always wanted to write a book, so they may be a good person. I would have people do nonfiction books. I would have someone doing fiction books, talking about fiction books and writing them. And then beyond that, there's even some breaking that down a little bit. Those are the two big topics. But so anyway, that's just me thinking out loud. Amy and I'll be talking about that, and we'll look at when we'll have it, all of that. It'd be nice to have it right before Thanksgiving or sometime then, so we could talk about it, or have it right after, so we could actually talk about it when the Black Friday and all that. Greg, where are you? Did you already leave? There you go. Greg, I'm sorry you're not feeling good today. Love you. Call me if I can do anything for you, okay? And Julie says, I'm trying to read all these chats. Is that okay? Yes, Julie, I understand. That's fine. Thank you. Thank you for telling me.
Andy, this is Jeremy. I got to jump off here for work, but I had a quick question about this. When you have guests, meaning the speakers for the summit, for whoever's hosting it, do you also have to be there with the guest, or do they just do it and it's recorded and then you just put it together with this end piece?
Well, somebody has to be managing it and be there just in case something doesn't work.
So it's is it some similar to Authors Marketing Guild, the event this last?
It would be very similar to that, yes.
Okay, very good. That makes sense.
And Jeremy, I want to talk to you about that anyway. First of all, I'd love your help, but also one of the things that I've been thinking of is, now that you're a member of our group, I want to check to see how many deaf authors there are out there, and if this would be something that they could use, and of course, I would want you to help with the interpretation. So
possibly we'll talk about that for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I just want to talk to you before I even make a decision or anything, just to get your feedback and your input. So
yeah, very good.
Okay.
I have a comment about telesummits too. You asked if we've done any of these or seen any of these, and I said no. But after you described what it is, I realized that Judith Briles does these. I mean, I get the offer through my subscription to her Author U group, I guess, to listen to this presentation live. But if I don't listen live, then the offer comes that I can pay for hearing the presentation, and it's pretty expensive.
Now that's not a summit though. That is a webinar that she does.
Yeah, it's a webinar.
And so webinars, you can do the same thing with webinars, and that's charged for the replay. Absolutely, yes. I never have paid for one for Judith. I don't even know how much it is or anything, but yes, and I'm getting all the messages, you guys that have to leave or have to be off for a minute or something. So
my question, Sandy, is does the person pay their speakers?
No.
You get 30 speakers for free to help you make money?
Because everybody has their offer to make their money. So let's say that I had Jeremy on to be a presenter about gaming. and he would talk about Planet Bound and all of that, then he can make an offer for people to buy. Now, it wouldn't necessarily be your book. This is what I talked to Hyatt and Red about yesterday. It would be a product that comes from your book. So Red could be planning a workshop or a work day or something around health and wellness that would cost, let's say, $100 for the day. Then he can sell that on there. But me
Correct.
as the host, I get a percentage of that. And that's whatever
Yeah.
percentage we talk about.
So for me, if I was talking to authors, especially in a forum similar to if it's all book people, then I can talk about successor games, translating your fantasy, your fiction, any of fiction, because it applies specifically to fiction better. It can apply to nonfiction, but it's kind of in a different way. How to translate that into a tabletop role-playing game or other type of board game.
Yeah, and you would teach them that. And then the goal is, so you want to have for your offer a fairly low price, like 97, 197. 197 would probably be the highest I would ask for. So because this is like a going up the steps going up the ladder one step at a time, because then you get them. If Jeremy, then he has 10 people to show up for his workshop, which costs $97. Well, that's $1,000. Not bad, but not the ultimate goal. And then from there, so in the workshop, he's going to teach them how to do it. At the workshop, he's going to offer to do it for them, which is a lot more than $100. So, and he would work on what that would be and what he would offer it for. Red would offer, if he's talking about the health and wellness, whatever. So he has a workshop or something for everybody that even wants to know anything about health and wellness. And then he has a private coaching program that he offers at the workshop, so that from then on, then he makes $1,000 a shot instead of $100. So yes, Jeremy, thank you. Do you want to say anything about that before you go? Monday night?
About the heroes, about Monday night?
Yes.
You just come ready, come with paper and pencil, because we're going to do some work. It's going to be a lot of questions. There's no PowerPoint associated with it. It's interaction. We're going to talk about it, and then I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions. We're just going to go subject by subject, but bring a pencil and paper, because you're going to want to really start to mull over these ideas.
And the title of his presentation is The Hero's Journey.
Correct. And how it applies in all aspects of your life, business, marketing, and your personal life, including your writing, of course.
Of course. So thank you, Jeremy. And I honestly, I've heard Jeremy speak before. You guys, he is fantastic. So I've never known a person with as many talents as Jeremy, because you saw the drawing he did, the painting he did for CJ and Lydia. That was amazing. And I've
seen the sketch I did. That was not a painting. The sketch I did. Yeah.
Okay. It was just
it was adorable, and it was very much appreciated. So I love the fan art, and I'm using it all over. So
see?
Yes, thank you, and I love it. Thank you for sharing
I
my
gotta
name.
go, guys. Have a great weekend.
Who said that?
Hey, Hyatt, I'm gone.
Okay, bye, Hyatt. So Jeremy used to, in our program at Live at Choice, he used to do drawings or caricatures or something about every program we had. It was really amazing to see. So the hero's journey is going to be an amazing thing. So make sure you're here. And I'm going to be getting the word out over the weekend. So we plan to have a very full house. But we can take up to 100, and I doubt very seriously we go over 100. So anyway, so back to the summits. What I'm going to do now is kind of similar to what Red and Hyatt and I did yesterday, and that's talk out what program would you have, or do you see having, or something like that. So Julie, I'm going to start with you, because you've got the only travel book in the group. So I think writing travel is a huge market today. I know quite a few people that go to conferences on travel writing and stuff like that. And a lot of them, so if you really get to where you want to just really write for a travel magazine or something, then, you know, you can. I do not know what's wrong with my computer today, but it keeps thinking I want it, and I don't. So, Julie, for example, a lot of these travel people get their way paid, they get a room, they get everything for an event that's at a facility that they're really marketing heavily. So, lots of good things you could get. Um, but to your previous question about getting 30 people to speak for nothing, we have more than 30 people in this group, and many of them are just getting started as an author, as a speaker, all of that. So there has to be a time when you're willing to speak for free to have people hear you, so they want you to come to their paid events. So I've known several people that said, I'm not going to speak unless I get paid. And they didn't get paid, and they didn't speak, and they eventually just left. But you just have to pay your dues, no matter whether you're writing a book, you're speaking, you're traveling, you're starting a business. There's a time when you have to learn, and you have to be willing to be, well, and first of all, you have to be generous. If in the whole world of giving and receiving, you have to be generous if you want people to give and help you. So Julie, if you were to have a summit yourself, now we're looking at not you being a speaker on mine. However, my goal would be to have every one of you that was interested be a speaker. And that would give me some marketing to do for you. We'll talk about your book, all of that. So that'll be my goal when I have it. And I have decided that I'm going to have it, but I'm going to wait until I know that Amy will be available. So, and I know you'll be available. I know you're not taking any time off, but I want you to have like extra time available. So, so Julie, tell me what your first thought would be if you hosted a summit.
Okay, I want to take a step back though. The conundrum that I'm having, and as I think about this, is that yes, you've already acknowledged we're all beginners, we're all just starting this, we're not experts, but the people want to hear experts.
Hello. I did not say you're not an expert. No. I believe all of you are experts. Otherwise, you wouldn't have written a book. What I am saying is people don't know about you. And they don't know your capabilities. They don't know your background. They don't know that you're the expert. So it's our goal to help you present that and have your expert status be known.
Well, my expertise that I am really comfortable in and can talk about ad infinitum is foreign affairs. And I'm not going to put together something on foreign affairs. So on writing, if I were going to do something on writing, it would be, I don't know, I'm really, really good at editing and grammar. But that's boring. Nobody wants to listen to that. So I'm not sure. I mean, I don't have an idea right now of what I could do.
Okay, so let's talk, you and I, one-on-one, and come up with some ideas. I did that with Hyatt and Red. I'm happy to do that with anybody in the group. You just have to let me know and schedule some time.
And what you're talking about, travel, that's magazine writing, and I don't do that. And, you know, so again, that's not what I'm going to do.
No.
Now, maybe I would put together something for other people to talk about it. I don't know, but.
Well, let's say that you would take an article or something, write an article. So yes, I get that you have a book and you're going to do other books, period. In your other books that you write, have you thought about what any of them will be?
Yeah, I have. One more or two more is going to be about the Camino, but then I'm going to write other books too on other totally different subjects. I mentioned here, I think I want to do a memoir about my family. I want to do a historical novel. I want to, you know, so I have a lot of ideas, but I'm going to do a children's book. Probably that's the next thing. But they're not anything, you know, I'm not an expert in writing children's books. I'm not an expert in writing historical novels.
No, but you are an expert in the travel because you can relate to the foreign affairs and the work you did there. You did a lot of travel, right?
Absolutely, my whole life.
So, I mean, so I do get that most travel is magazines because you have magazines about every place. I think that'd be a great way to market your book, is to have an article that you put in a magazine. And one thought that came immediately to mind is, the airline magazines. So I would look at, I've done articles. I even had a couple of books in the airline magazines for different clients. And so first of all, you want to make sure you have that the airline goes to the place where most people fly to go on the Camino, right? And where would that be?
Well, they go to all over. Depends on where they start their Camino. They go to Madrid, they could go to Barcelona, they could go to Paris, they could go straight to Santiago de Compostela. It really depends.
That would make a great article. And that article, if you focus on like one or two places, then anybody that flies into those places would definitely be an opportunity. Now, if it's Southwest, that's not going to be an opportunity because they don't fly to Spain, I don't think. Not yet, anyway. So that's just so the one way you get to where you know more about that is the brainstorming. We had a great session yesterday with Red and Hyatt brainstorming what they could do, because one of the things that's great to do with these summits is bring people on that could help you with what your goals would be as far as in the travel. You could bring somebody on, if let's say your summit was focused on that, you could bring somebody on that talks about vacation places or that writes about vacation places. I could just think of all kind of things for you to do. And the goal being that you sell your book. Along with, if you did decide to do a course in writing or editing or something like that, but I would start. You can do a whole thing on the El Camino. So anyway, let's you and I have a call and just do some brainstorming. Then from there, you go back and do your research and decide what you want to do. But anyway, so Red, yes.
Julie, you might possibly fit into a narrow niche. You said you're not good at this, and this, which is fine. And you gave me a couple of ideas when you were mentioning that. But when you went to the Camino, I don't know how your brain was set to write the book on the Camino before you went. But if people have some extended vacations, they're walking the Appalachian Trail, or they're doing this over in Italy for a month, or whatever it may happen to be, maybe what your niche is what do you do in advance to prepare to write a book about an extended event that you're doing? And obviously you had certain things in mind in order to keep this book going from page 1 all the way on through, to come back and reconstruct everything after you get back and never decided to write the book when you went is a little more difficult. But it might be that when people have these things that they're doing, you might have an advantage there, because people do want to write about things at some point in time, and that might be a small niche to think about.
So that's what we're talking about, small summits. We're not talking about one that would get you, thousands, like the one that Amy works with. She's been doing this for years, and it's not a small summit, it's a large summit. So be thinking about it. Where Julie, somebody left because Julie moved. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so let's go next to Athena. So Athena writes romance. Get ready for her press release, because they're going to let you know about that. And we have it. Amy, is it ready for me to send to Athena? Oh, sorry, my arm.
I got something.
Kathy already sent one to you, Athena, and then I forwarded one the other day to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's ready to go out then.
I got Amy's today. I found it in my spam. So I'll go over that. I noticed it's not a Word file, so I need it to be a Word file so I can do some corrections. But Kathy's I've already sent back.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what was it, Amy? Was it a PDF?
No, it was a Word document.
I can't open it.
Okay, I can resend it. I have it to resend.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so
what version of Word do you have?
What is it? Microsoft Word. 365. I
Oh,
don't
you
know.
get it from Office 365, then
Yes.
it should work then.
Yeah.
Amy, if you'll check that out and see, and I'll look at it too because she copied me on it, so I'll look at it.
Okay.
But anyway, that'll be going out soon because we will be doing Athena's book launch, and we're taking a book that she already has, redoing the cover, redoing the book, relaunching it. And James, I sent you an email, and I don't know if you responded yet or not because I didn't see it.
I seen the email. I haven't responded yet.
Okay.
But I did see the email. I'm waiting to talk to Athena about whether we want to do it on the 22nd or maybe to the end of the month because, like I said, books don't come in that quickly. But we already ordered her book, so we should have a copy of it.
Okay.
Soon.
Okay. But is it on? It's already on Amazon. The revised version is on Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So technically, we could have it tomorrow if we wanted to.
Yeah, if you order from Amazon, for some reason, Amazon can get it to you quicker than I can.
Yeah. Okay. So you let me know what date. So sometime in August, we will be doing the relaunch of Athena's book. And I just bought my copy yesterday, so I plan to be reading it this weekend before, so like we can start talking on our call next week about all the details. So, and Athena has some very strong opinions about romance, so I want to make sure we get those out there. So Athena, back to you and the small summit. And this is not going nearly as quickly as I thought it would, so we may have to just have a few people talk about it. So next, after Athena, I'll ask who wants to go next so we can get to the people that want to talk first. So Athena, if you were going to have your own small summit, what topic would you do?
I think I would probably, I know Julie says editing is boring, but it's actually not. And every writer should have an editor. And this should be actually drilled into every writer that they really, really need editors because they are too close to their own material and they need somebody to just help them a little bit. Because the editor's job is not to just cut and slash and change things. It's to help the writer make their work even better, you know. And sometimes you pick up things that they can't see anymore because they just up against their own work. But apart from that, I think that sometimes explaining the process of writing, you know, what you need, because I follow some groups and I see many times, I want to write a book, but how do I go about it? And that process sometimes is needed to be understood for them to know how you go about setting up yourself to write the book from beginning to end. Because maybe you've got a few ideas of events, but how do you set it all up that you have a beginning, a middle, an end, you have a theme, you have all the things that are necessary, and you have the right techniques that you can bring this book about and have a good presentation. So that is what I think I would talk about, the process of putting a book together.
And the process of putting a book together is definitely a great topic to have for.
Yes. There's two different things. We all know what software and hardware is. Publishing is the hardware. Writing is the software. So you have to put them together to understand that's how a computer works. You need the software and you need the hardware, and put them together, you have a computer. So writing is like that. How do you have a good story? By bringing your software, your ideas, and bringing the hardware, which is the publishing, the actual physical book, and here you have now your storytelling. So that's my thing. Plus, one little idea. To have a hobby is wonderful because you'll be amazed how practicing your hobby helps you overcome writer's block, coming up with new ideas, all kinds of things. Because your mind sometimes is free of the writing and you're just concentrating on doing something else. And the ideas actually hit you when you in a relaxed mode.
That's a great way to put things, Athena.
Athena,
can't wait
I'm
to
going
see
to yours immediately.
Excuse me?
She's
I
going
want-
to yours
I wanna go to
immediately.
yours.
Okay, put one customer down for me.
So, and Athena, that just shows me, you know, I can't wait for you to get a presentation together. So James, you and Athena put a presentation together to do on Monday night, okay?
Okay. And I will go ahead to just jump in here and say that I would do one on publishing. You want to do one on publishing industry and what it actually takes to submit to a publisher. And there's very many steps that goes into actually publishing a book. And most people don't know what that entails. They say, I wrote a book, I send you a letter, hey, I wrote this great book, and that's all they do. And they have no idea what else comes about or what actually publishers are looking at when you send them a book. And so
that you guys already have everything you need to have a summit with the two of you together. So
yeah. And what we could sell from that would be editorial services. We could sell reading services, which we don't do because we're too busy actually publishing the people that we do publish. So we don't charge anybody for that. But if we wanted to charge somebody, we can charge them for editing. We can charge them for content development. Like we read your story, and a lot of people do that. A lot of publishing companies do that. They'll read your story, they'll tell you where the pitfalls are, and they'll turn it back over to you, and that's all they do. But they charge you for that.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So,
As a matter of fact, I read every book that that we promote, that we do have a launch for. Now, I mean, some of them I don't quite finish. John's I have not been able to finish yet, but I'm going to keep reading that book until I get it. So, but I know a lot of people, a lot of publicists even that don't read the book unless they will charge a reading fee first to determine if they want to promote the book or whatever. So yeah, I hear you, James. It is a lot of work. So, okay, so who anybody else want to talk about if you were hosting a summit, what you would talk about? Or what would be the theme? Or anything about a summit? Anybody want to talk about it?
I do.
Okay, and then Kathy.
Yeah, I want to partner with another author who is more of an expert on resiliency. And then I want to use my book as the narration and the living of resiliency. So it's kind of merging two talents together. And then that could have a prong to use that to do workshops on the other idea that one could do a summit. And that would be like.
So Delia, I have someone for you.
Yeah, I do too. Our Kathy.
Yes.
and I've been thinking about that for a long time. I have been thinking about her. How is it that we can work together, Kathy and I, because we are really on the same track. It said that style is going directly.
Now, are you talking about Kathy Hellweiser or Kathy Loftman?
Kathy Loftman.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure because that's who I had in mind was Kathy Loftman.
Right. But it has also a prong that could go into if you're going to be targeting counselors and educators and actually talk about the migrant and the immigrant population or the early childhood, and you're going to be talking about targeting, the Head Start programs and things like that, which I have done. I mean, that's something that would come very easy to me because I've done those workshops just to really make them into a summit. And it could spun into a course to be taught in a university for credit. You get more people coming if they're going to get credit for this and it's part of their study. So
okay.
Ideas merging together. And
I think now would be a great time to talk to her about that too. So make sure you attend that small summit. So I just posted the link. I created a bit link and I posted it in the chat Click on that. It will tell you more about this summit and give you an opportunity to register, and it is free to attend. And it is multiple days, but you just go to the ones. You'll get I haven't even received, I'm registered a couple of days ago, and I have not received any information as to when they're speaking or anything like that. So I will share that as soon as I have it. So, so Delia, great idea. Kathy Helison.
Well, I've been thinking a couple of different lines. I encourage writers to think smaller at first so that you can get some immediate positive feedback, hopefully. So my gig is freelance writing, and I could talk about how. I could talk about how to find the appropriate market. There's a lot of resources out there that list markets that are buying content from writers. I could talk about how you submit, because there are kind of ethics that go with it. And if you follow the ethical rules, your chances of succeeding are much higher than if you just willy-nilly send things out all over the universe without doing any research and without following their protocol. That separates the amateurs from the professionals pretty quickly. So I think that's what I'd like to talk about. And then the service I could offer is I could coach people and help them find appropriate markets to try for their things. So I don't know, that's what I've been thinking about.
That is great. And so just like Delia mentioned having a partner, I suggest that most of you look for a partner to do it, because it will give you opportunity to broaden what you're talking about, but also to have help, because it's a lot of work. I mean, it's going to be a lot of work to get the people, set it up, then get the people to participate, get all their information in, because you'll want to get what they're speaking about and all of that, so you can create the calendar and the timing. So it's a lot of work, but it is definitely worth it for a lot of reasons. It's a great list builder. So everybody that signs up, they have to give you their name and email address, and you just put a little. I saw that Kelly had put a little note that you will receive emails from us after you attend this. Feel free to unsubscribe at any time. So you just want to let them know. They don't have to. It's not a permanent thing. So look at that. So that's a great idea, Kathy. I love that idea. So for the rest, so CJ, is that something you and Lydia would like to think about, you think?
Doing an actual summit of our own?
Yeah.
We've got so many hats spinning right now, it's not even funny.
I know. That's why I asked, is that something you would even entertain? Because it may be something.
I wouldn't mind being a part of one, but I wouldn't want to run it because we are running so many things right now.
Got it.
I'm sure Lydia's under the same umbrella as me, because we got a lot.
And honestly, I don't even know what all is involved in hosting it and being the one that tracks everything down and makes the decisions and all that. I have no idea. All of it. Parts of it I know, some of it I don't. So it will be something for me to have. Well, first of all, I'll have Amy to help me, thank God. But especially for all the technology stuff that's involved, because you will need someone to help with the technology, because you will have to set it up and coordinate it. I mean, there'd be nothing worse than having all these people there to hear the speakers and the speaker not show up, or your presentation not be ready, or something. So you want to make sure you're prepared for all those kind of things when you're the host yourself. So I agree with you, CJ. I think that's a lot to do, and I know you guys are already doing an awful lot. So, thank you for that.
Not everybody's busy. We're just juggling a lot right now.
I know, and I get that. So, and so that's very important to understand and realize. If you don't want to tackle the whole thing, then what part do you want to do, and how can we help you find somebody to help? Just like I've mentioned this 2 or 3 times, but this is because we just met yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind. But when I was talking to Hyatt and Red about different programs that they could do, doing some brainstorming, and then from there you look at who do you want to partner with to do a lot of these things? And we haven't even gotten into that today, but you can do a joint venture. So it's a one-time deal that you're going to do the summit with them, and you're going to split any money that comes in. Revenue will be split 50-50 or whatever percentage you decide, whoever's doing most of the work. Yes, CJ.
I will say this though, that the exposure alone is kind of like networking at the book shows that have all been canceled this year. So the exposure alone, I wouldn't mind doing it, and I wouldn't mind doing it for free to just get my name out there, because it's all about getting your name out there, and whatever it is that you're willing to do. Like for me, what I did on Monday night regarding the social media and branding, I'd be happy to do that for somebody else. It's already up. I already have it ready to go.
Yep, that's a great idea.
If anybody's looking for one, let me know.
And once you have the presentation done, you do exactly like CJ is talking about. You have that same presentation that you can customize, tweak some if you have to do it on others. And so that would be a great thing. And that's one of the things we've been doing the last few days, Amy and I, working with Joshua and then David, because we're going to start a program on Monday with David, where he's going to be at, we said 1 o'clock, right, David?
Actually, we moved that to noontime. I'm actually speaking at a virtual conference starting at 1 o'clock that day.
Oh, okay, got it. Well,
that happens around here when I get more than one day timer going.
I hear you. Well, I'm glad you tell me that, because that works fine for me. So yes, on Monday, we're starting David's podcast, which we're not calling it a podcast yet, but we're going to start at that same time every Monday. I mentioned that last week, and I had several people that said they were interested in being a guest on his podcast. And one was Lydia. So she'll be one of the first ones, because she's very excited about it. So David's book is called The Decline of America. And so he's not going to be focusing only on his book, because one of the things that David does here in Houston is he is an attorney. He's also works a lot with small businesses, entrepreneurs, and he also teaches at the University of St. Thomas. And David, what courses do you teach there?
Oh, I teach whatever they need me to teach. So I'm teaching the capstone for the Masters in International Business, the capstone for the MBA program, and I'm also teaching business law and business ethics. And so they keep me pretty busy over there. I teach way over my expected course load.
Very good. So some of those topics we will be discussing. Especially because we want to keep it very relevant. And with the changes that businesses are going through today due to COVID and other aspects, we'll be talking about that on some of them. So Monday, I will be interviewing David as we talk about what the future plans for it. And then he will start taking guests. And I'll be there to interview both David and the guests, at least for now, as long as he wants me to be there. But if it comes to time when David's like, I know I can do this now, then I'll push the bird out of the nest and he'll go fly. So, but I love working with David, because he's just the most knowledgeable in all of these topics. I'm so impressed every time we ask him a question. It's like, wow, he really, goes over and above to answer them. So I can't wait for Monday. That'll be every Monday at noon. So that's one thing. Then Red, and what we talked about with Red and Hyatt, is a program that we could either do new books. So Red is a publisher, but he's a publisher that doesn't want to do a lot of the things that other publishers do. So he's very clear on what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do. Because when I suggest something that is what he doesn't want to do, he's very clear when he tells me I don't want to do that. So thank you, Red. I really appreciate that, honestly. So we're talking about some programs, some courses. That's a big thing today, is courses. So if you have a course that we could, David, this would be something I could do with you, is put that course in a video format so that you can sell it. And I'll show you, David, some of the programs, the courses that I have purchased and how they look. You get a document that's got, lesson 1, lesson, and then a blurb about it, lesson 2, and you just click on it to go to where you have that recording stored or housed. And there's quite a few sites that will do that for almost nothing. So all of those, we live in an age where you can do anything you want to from anywhere, just because of all the things that are available and at a very reasonable price. So I think in all the things I do like that, the most expensive thing is Zoom. And to get some of the capabilities that we have, it costs extra. So I wanted to be able to have webinars on here. I wanted to be able to have the breakout rooms, because when we start doing, all that's going to pay off really when we do this summit, because I can have 2 speakers at one time. And you can choose, do you want to go in this room or do you want to go in that room? And we divide the people up. We, meaning Amy, could divide the people up into what room they want to go to. So there's all kinds of stuff that I want you to think big, think forward, think about where you just picture where you want to be and what you're going to want to do. And that's what we're going to work towards. So Julie, you have my Calendly address, right? So schedule a 30-minute call with me. We'll do some brainstorming on if you were going to host a travel summit. And I think that would probably be a fun thing to do. It sounds fun to me because I've never done anything with the travel, but if it'd be fun for you or not. So we'll talk about that. Any last minute word from anyone?
Okay. I was just thinking, after we had all the talk and everything, the author fest that I just did, the author fair, that was somewhat like a summit, because they set it up, and like you say, you want to be able to get the technical stuff down. We had 1 or 2 hiccups during that thing, whereas they didn't get to record the first person up there because they wouldn't record. So they brought it back on at the end of the day so they can just record her session again. And these summits, and I would just want to direct it to Julie when she said she's not an expert. Let me tell you something. When I worked for Jackson Hewitt and just got out of programming, or actually I was still in programming courses, getting my degree, the first thing they told me was, you are the subject matter expert. We've been training for like 3 months, and we had to go out to the business partners, the brand new business partners, and set up their computers and set up their shop and everything like that. And the one thing they told us was, you know more than the people you're going to see. That makes you the expert.
That's good.
And that's Julie, you wrote a book. That makes you an expert on writing.
It does, and it also, because of her book, and because of the message and the title, that to me is like a totally, that's one of the things you want to look for, is what makes it unique. Well, hers is definitely unique because it's from the perspective that you don't have to walk it all. You can take a bus part of the way, or you can do whatever. And so it's savoring the El Camino de Santiago, savoring it, so enjoying it, not being in a race to compete to see who can get there first or who can walk more miles, but just enjoying the beauty, which transcends that book from just a travel book to one that's more like a spiritual book.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to say is, there's a lot of people who want to take vacations and things like that, and you could talk about how you wrote off your expenses on this trip. And I hope she did, because I did when I went to Egypt. I wrote off that expense because I put it in my book. I put portions of that story and what I did on that trip in my book. And that's one of the reasons why I went to Egypt, was because I wanted to get the feel and what it's actually like to be in Egypt, in the desert. And that's something that you can't get from a movie or something. They play music over the scene of the person crossing the desert. Well, when I got to the desert, I realized there's no music, there's no sound, and it's hot as hell, and there's no escape. So
No,
That's
I didn't write out for my expenses going to Camino. First of all, I did it in 2016 and my book didn't come out until 2020.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You can still write it off.
Second of all, my CPA said the IRS is going to just scream when they see your return, as I had such a loss in 2019. I don't need any more deductions.
Well, I'm paying the IRS back now, but I still write off stuff anyway, and they took that. That didn't get written off. I got stuff from prior to that I'm paying the IRS back for, but if you took the trip and you put it down as part of your research, it's a legitimate business deduction.
I plan to do that in future when
Yep.
I'm not.
Okay, guys. So thank you all. I've got to run. I've got to run to my get my shot. So I'll keep you updated. James, see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. We've already been promoting everything, and you have too. So I sent out the letter. I sent out the email this morning.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Did I leave anything out?
No, I think it was pretty spot on.
Okay, good. Okay. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Julie, send me